this is something I kind of just came up with on the fly. I'm starting to sense some sort of new rivalry in the Western Conference. I'm starting to see some sort of hatred and animosity for each two teams between two teams, and that's the New Orleans Pelicans and the Phoenix Suns. Those two teams matched up about a week ago, and I think the Pelicans got the best of them in those two games in New Orleans. And Zion Williamson, I think at the end of one game, it was the end of the game. He just, where you're supposed to run the clock out, he hit a 360 windmill dunk and told the Suns to hit the showers and head home, and that started a whole lot of beef between them. And I think we're starting to see some sort of rivalry there.
NBA put them up 3 times in a week and a half. You know
That's
how crazy?
crazy. Yeah, I felt like I've seen these guys play each other like three
Yeah,
times.
like they really want him to play 3 times. They kind of wanted this rivalry to build up.
Third
I
time,
believe
Devin
that.
Booker had like 57.
Yeah,
He was
Devin
going
Booker
crazy.
did have 50 on them. And at the end of that game, Devin Booker did attempt a 3-pointer where the clock was running down in the fourth quarter.
He made that right.
No, he
No,
missed.
he just missed it. He
Okay, I
attempted
thought
it
he
to
made
send
that.
a
I thought he made
message,
that.
but
Nah, man. It's like I do sense a rivalry forming. This dates back to last season in the playoff, first round. It feels like New Orleans have kind of like turned their back on CP3, and that's not because of their hatred for CP3. It's just how CP3's been acting in their playoff matchups with like dirty plays to Jose Alvarado, pushing guys like Herb Jones, on the back in rebounds and doing a lot of like dirty and some sneaky stuff. And it feels like he himself doesn't like New Orleans, and I like the fact that New Orleans have like barked back. They don't care if you're a legend for them. They don't care if you're a Hall of Fame point guard and that you gave them good years. It doesn't matter to them. They got a new team that's in that they're hyped about. And last season we saw it in the playoffs. Brandon Ingram telling guys like CP3, yo, like come outside. We gonna see what's happening. And then now you got Zion dunking the ball and telling guys. I like the fact that after Zion dunked that, CP3 didn't even go up to Zion. He went to Jose Alvarado, who's his height. He didn't want to check in with with Zion. That's a different beast. And it feels like this just is an extension of the Suns just being a like an unlikable team. And it's not just simply fans that don't like them. It's like I get the sense that across the league, guys just don't like the Suns as a team. They're just not a fan of them. It goes back to that Dallas series with Luca and the Suns, and it just feels like now we're starting to see a rivalry form between these two teams. And like the Pelicans aren't backing down because they got the players for it. And Devin Booker, he had 57, but like the Pelicans can easily say, "Yo, like we didn't have Brandon Ingram in this game. Like we would have whooped your ass with Brandon Ingram. Like cool, you had 57 and all, and you got the win, but we didn't have our second best player and All Star. So, I mean, we do get a sense of a rivalry forming. I would love to see these teams rematch in the playoffs, but this time around, you got a different animal in Zion Williamson. They have absolutely nobody to stop this guy. They were putting Josh Okogie on him. And you know how he's built, Josh Okogie. He's built pretty damn strong, and Zion literally sunned him. There were times that they were putting DeAndre Ayton on him, and that didn't even make a difference. Like they were putting a whole center on him, and it just didn't change anything. So I'd love to see these teams match up, man.
Man, you know me, man. My hatred for the Suns. Fuck the Suns, first of all. First and foremost. Second of all, I love the Pelicans. I love what Zion did. Third off, Chris Paul's a bitch. Like everything that he's done to Jose Alvarado, and for no reason, every game they played in ever since the last season, even in the season, he's always acted like a dickhead to him for no reason. Always elbowing him, pushing him, hitting him in the face for no reason, tripping him up. So I felt like, the Suns, not the Suns, but the Pelicans, Zion dunking that ball was like, yo, we got our guy. We here. Hopefully, we see you guys in the playoffs, and that's what it was. And him coming up, not coming up to Zion after that dunk and going to Jose after that play, just shows you what type of player, what type of team they are, what type of players they have, and the fake toughness that they're outputting. So I'd love to see this. I want the Pelicans to play them in the playoffs, hopefully in the second round, and I just want Zion to dog walk them. Hopefully, it happens.
yeah, man, like I feel like we're starting to see something here in the NBA. It's not even just with the New Orleans Pelicans. Like, of course, the Phoenix Suns have turned into public enemy number one in the league. Everybody in the league just feel like they need to play their best against the Suns. They need to showcase all of their talents when they play this team. And this Phoenix Suns, man, they've become good these last couple of years, but they showboat like crazy. Winners work where you're working out after the game and you're posting it on social media. It just rubs people the wrong way. But for this, going back to this rivalry between the New Orleans Pelicans and them, Zion Williamson, I gotta respect him for what he did simply because he came after the game and he said, it wasn't like me to do something like that, but he understood what happened last year between these two teams in the playoffs, where he saw his teammates in the locker room with their heads down and upset simply because the Phoenix Suns ended their season and Zion wasn't able to, play in that series because he was injured and help his team out and give him a better chance at winning. So and he understood that he took he took accountability for that, and he knew that it was not that wasn't him, that was a different character, a different version of him. But he told people, yo, if you don't understand, you have to understand. So it's basketball. And CJ McCollum said it best. If you don't want a scoring on you, come back and play defense, because Chris Paul on that play tried to get a layup on them. So what was the whole point of that? You could have just held the ball and dribbled it out and just walked off the court. But you try to get a quick one on us. We have one of the best dunkers in the league and the high flyers. We're gonna do something nice and get our fans going. People came to see a show, and they're gonna get a show. But these two teams, if they match up in the playoffs, man, it's gonna be an intense, high volume, good basketball series. But outside of them, the New Orleans Pelicans, man, I feel like we're seeing a competitive rivalry brew between this team and even the Dallas Mavericks, man. But I feel like that one is just so one-sided, because whenever Luka Doncic sees a Phoenix Suns or just Devin Booker himself, man, that guy, like, he can be on a cold streak where he's not doing so well, but when he sees the Phoenix Suns on this schedule, like, that guy's gonna go off for 40 points and probably a 40-point triple-double. Like, he does not forget what happened in that series where Devin Booker was showboating, where Devin Booker poked the ball out and he was pissed off there, and Devin Booker said the Luka special and stuff like that. And when Luka was going back in the locker room, he said everybody acts tough when they're up, and they ended up winning the next two games. So the Suns, man, they've turned into public enemy number one. A lot of teams just don't necessarily like them, but the two teams that I would definitely have to say hate them the most, one being the Pelicans and two, Luka Doncic. But at least the Suns were able to fight back a little bit against the Pelicans a couple nights ago, or last night, where Devin Booker had 50 plus. But like Abdi said, man, without Brandon Ingram, how much weight does that hold? Like, they beat you twice without Brandon Ingram, and you get one at home where Devin Booker has to score 50 to win. Like, if Brandon Ingram plays that game, they're probably sweeping him 3-0 in a matter of a week. And then Dallas Mavericks, they have to fight back against the Mavericks, because ever since that series, man, Luka Doncic's game 7, I don't think they've beat him ever since. So they have to figure out they got to figure out a way to stop Luka Doncic, because if not, that's going to be a one-sided rivalry, and there's not going to be a lot of people talking about that one. But hopefully they match up with either of these two teams. Hopefully it's the New Orleans Pelicans, man, because that team, they're all fight, man. They don't back down from no challenge, and they got a lot of dogs in the team, starting with Zion leading the way. So
record a new hit, then we making us a film. Wouldn't sign a deal if I got a couple mil. Been in the lab, now they throwing out deals. Yes, now late, now that's overkill.